Hey, film fans, welcome to the Mirko Movie Guys. I'm Clint Schaffer, and this is my buddy Chad Weeks.
And we're a couple guys who like movies and like to talk about movies. Clint, who are we going to talk to tonight?
Chad, tonight we are going to talk to Suzy Bogguss.
I feel like if we got a guest like Suzy Bogguss, we could do better. We could do better on the intro. What do you think?
I think you're right. Let's give this one a shot, Chad.
Let's hear it.
Hey, film fans, this one is a special one. Not just because our guest tonight is a Grammy-winning country music legend with one of the smoothest voices to ever grace the stage, but because she's one of our own.
Born and raised right here in Mercer County, Illinois, she took the heart and soul of this little county and carried it with her through decades of musical success, from the Grand Ole Opry to gold and platinum albums and countless stages across the country.
And now she's lending her voice in a whole new way as the narrator of a heartwarming film that just so happens to be set in the very town where it all began.
She's a storyteller, a trailblazer, and a true hometown hero.
Please welcome to the Mirko Movie Guys podcast, the one, the only, Suzy Bogguss. Suzy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. This is the star. I mean, like most people are going to know Suzy as the Aledo musician and all those hits and Grammy Award winning and all that stuff. But but we're here to mainly talk about the Aledo movie, which you are the narrator, correct?
I am. I have like sort of a little cameo in it, and the idea of the movie was for it to not be really scripted, and I didn't really get that, and so yeah, I kind of stink in the acting department. So thank God they used some songs that I actually could sing okay.
Yeah.
I thought you did a phenomenal job, by the
Oh,
way.
thank you.
So,
Yeah, yeah. I didn't look like a deer in the headlights every time the camera was on me. It's like, "Ah."
Well, well, I was surprised because I expected you to be like a true cameo, like you would, like I actually have a cameo in there where I don't have any speaking lines, they just show me for a brief second, like, but you you were the narrator for this, you were an integral part of this film, so that and then soundtrack too, so
Well, yeah, I guess in a way, yes. And
yeah,
honestly, because of the sweetness and the way that the gals came to me to talk about and I love my hometown,
mhm,
and I loved how they love my hometown. It just made me feel like there's nothing here that is trying to undermine or be like teasy or anything. It was just like everything about it was it's a great place. It's a really sweet town that has you know, some wonderful characteristics, and I thought they did a really good job with it. So I was thrilled
it's
to be a part of it.
it's funny you say that, Suzy, because Chad and I actually had that conversation when they were shooting it, and then of course the anticipation for us seeing the first time they premiered it, and we kind of were curious about that, right? Where it's like, man, are they going to be poking fun at our small town and
Yeah,
small town life and things of that
that's
nature?
what
And hey,
I
that's
was
where
worried about too. Yeah.
yeah, and it was funny because both Chad and I walked out of the movie and we're like, that was phenomenal. Like they captured so much of the fun, the joy, and it was so cool. I think to Chad, like saying that we kind of knew that you were going to have a cameo, but I didn't know to what extent. And then it was like such an awesome surprise to hear you narrating it for singing. And it was so cool. And I
Uh,
would love to know, how did that come about? How did they reach out to you at that point?
Well, in the beginning, they reached out to ask about doing some music for the production, and I was so excited for them because they won this grant to be able to do something, and then they chose to do this labor of love that Christina had come up with, because she used to, Christina Shaver,
Yep.
who is one of the
Yep.
writers. She, her grandmother was Marie Conway, and Marie was one of my mom's best friends. So,
Oh,
and
Ah,
they were both like really salty individuals, people that, they read a lot and they knew stuff, and they get together and they would, you know, kibitz about stuff. And I loved that about them, that they were, you know, gals that just wanted to talk about big stuff,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And Christina's idea was that she was coming from Chicago, and for her to come into this small town and be around her cousins, the Conway boys. Yeah, I know the
oh
Conway
yeah,
boys.
yeah.
Plus, I taught the Conway boys swimming lessons, so
Really?
Oh,
I knew
nice.
them from a very early age, and I knew which one was the Twinkie one that wouldn't get in the water.
Which one was that? Just out of curiosity.
Uh,
Was it Sean?
I can't say it out loud. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah,
Um, no, it's like it was, you know what it's like there. I mean,
yeah.
I'm so sad the pool's down for a while, but seriously, when we first would open and the swimming lessons would start, and I was the lifeguard there, we would have to get in that water in the mornings, and it was 55 degrees
Oh,
outside, and the water was 65 degrees, and it was just like, nobody wanted to get in. Nobody liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had two run-ins with swimming lessons, Susie, and both were in Aledo, but they were at the Y. And
Oh, okay.
the second time, I was the oldest person in. I still can't swim, so just to tell you, I was in the polywog class, and I was the oldest person there. My sister was the second oldest, and she's like 5 years younger than me. So I went there, was signed up for that. I told my mom, like, I can't go back, Mom. I can't. We're just gonna have to deal with me not being a swimmer, as
Were
a river rat.
were you were you already, like, in your 20s
No,
when
I wasn't in my 20s. But I was probably like 12, 13. I don't know.
I
Oh,
But
mean, to be fair, Chad, we did try to give you swim lessons when you're like 25, and it
yeah,
was
that's true.
still pretty miserable.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I panic. I panic.
yeah. You know what? I don't even know what the answer is to that, because 'cause I've got a friend who is like, she took the softball team to the Olympics. This woman is, like,
oh wow,
amazing
Yeah.
softball coach, Margie Wright, and she's an Illinois person as well. But, she doesn't swim, and, it's just one of those things where it's like certain people, it's just not
Yeah.
their
yeah.
cup of tea. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, even after all the teaching and everything I did, I mean, I sure like to give it a crack though, man.
All right. While we're down there, we'll find a pool. You can teach me how to swim down there.
All
So
right, let's try it.
uh so the soundtrack for this was all your music. So like did you write all this? Did you write it for this? Did you have it ready? How did that all come about?
So three of the songs my husband and I wrote,
Okay.
and but the other ones were from a record that I made that was kind of a tribute to my music teachers from Aledo.
Really?
Melvin Larson, who was my teacher all the way through to seventh grade, and then Morris Stevens, who goes by Mo. Uh, so Mo Stevens, who was our seventh grade through high school teacher, and I mean, both of them were just phenomenal. They were like, they wanted us to have the experience of real music. They gave us everything, and Mr. Mr. Larson was our principal, besides being the music teacher. And so as
Oh,
the principal, he was scary as heck. He
Yeah.
was a really scary man. But as a music teacher, he was nothing but joy. I mean, he would sit down at the piano and he could just play it like you couldn't believe. And, he just encouraged everyone to participate. And that really got into my soul. It's the reason I did this album of the American Folk Songbook, which is just a lot of the songs we had in a book that we kind of learned a little bit about um, the United States and the Industrial Revolution, and there were little pictures in there, so I knew the Erie Canal looked a lot different than our lock and dam, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So you were actually learning some history and some just big things, and along with the singing. And even the folks that that wasn't their gift, singing was not their first love or gift, he had everybody participating. And I just continue that with people. There's a lot of times when somebody will drag their spouse or their loved one to one of my shows, and I am encouraging them to participate. And sometimes I feel like they're just like, would you please just leave us alone?
Yeah.
Can we just get through this? And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to do that. But the honest truth is it's very, it's good for your soul. It's joy. It's something and also it can be a form of just like relieving stress or whatever, just
Yes.
Yeah.
to belt out something. So yeah, so that the other songs other than the ones that Doug and I wrote, are things that are public domain songs that have been around for many, many, many years.
Ah,
Okay,
okay.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And so, which one of the loop was the one? Is
Oh
that the what's called?
yeah.
Is that which one did that fall under? Because that was, I
Oh
feel like
yeah,
that was
we
one of the
know that one.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's one of the
the
most cinematic episodes in the whole movie where there's back and forth and stuff. So go ahead if you could tell me about that one.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, that was a very important part of my growing up. Getting to
Okay.
the point where you could cruise the loop. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're a freshman, you can cruise the loop if you have older friends, and you
Mhm.
can be, cool enough to be in a car that somebody legally can drive it.
Yeah.
And so that that's your kind of your first experience with the loop is when you get to be a freshman.
Yeah.
Um, and there's just so much you learn through
Yes.
the loop.
Mhm.
I mean,
Abs-
let's not go into serious details, but there's a lot. And
yeah.
much about just socializing and how, um, you know, every weekend was different.
Yep.
Sometimes it was a Friday night football game, and sometimes it was, go to the movies or do something else different that's just conjuring up something to do in our small town vibe and stuff, and try not to get into trouble
Yeah. My
or
my
not to
dad
get
my
caught.
dad never understood it because it's like I'm going to Aledo and I'm just gonna drive. You're just gonna drive around all night. That's what you're doing. You're driving around Aledo all night. Yeah, yeah. We're
I
gonna have fun. We're
Yeah,
gonna maybe
I'm gonna
talk to
say
some
for
girls if we're
me,
lucky, and
yeah,
we're gonna go to the bowling alley or
so
whatever. It was
stuff
it
I'm
to
gonna
just
say,
get
Chad, from the
free.
ages of
Yeah,
16,
yeah.
16 to 18, I think that's all we
Oh,
did
he did.
was
Yeah.
cruise the loop in Aledo every weekend. So
so true. I mean, and I actually loved it when some of the guys came in from the other towns, because I mean,
Exactly.
it's like you
Us
need a
below the bluffers show up down there,
little
right?
fresh air, in
Yeah.
town.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that. So you're going to be at the premiere this what next weekend, right? The
Yeah,
6th.
6, yes, yeah.
Yes. So
nice.
we are super excited to see you there. We're gonna be checking that out as well.
Well, I'm not
Uh,
really doing anything except watching and just kind of hanging out and hopefully talking to a bunch of old friends.
yep. Yep.
So it's
When
Absolutely.
was
going to
the
be fun.
first when was the first time that you got to actually view the film in its entirety?
Um, well, I guess just shortly before they showed it at the high school there.
Oh
So,
wow. Okay.
because they were still working on it pretty much right up to the end of that, like just little details and stuff. And I don't know if you guys, I know you do movies and you talk about movies and stuff, but they wanted it to be like really not uh, you know overdubbed, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. They wanted it to be really like kind of honest and just kind of organic, if I can
Yeah.
use a dorky word,
Yeah.
and that so it was really important to them that they could get their cuts and things so that everything looked natural, and it, you know, the people that were in the movie that were not actors, were, represented well, and it looked
Yeah.
good, and it
Yeah.
also kind of personified, kind of what our the town folk are.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Clint and I talked about that actually when we went to the screening, is like, because it was kind of surprising with how mobile they were,
Yeah,
because it wasn't like a big crew. They were very mobile,
and it
and
was a very short period of time that they made the
yes,
movie.
and it
Yeah.
looked great. Like, I was so surprised at how good it looked when we went to that viewing. And yeah, we've talked to Christina and Beth a couple times, but we're actually having a full interview with them Friday night, so
Oh god,
they'll be following you up. So yeah,
yeah, yeah, no, Bethany, uh, Bethany, I think she was losing her patience with me because when we got to the cornfield scene, we're out there like right by some of my friends' houses, and I'm out there like I can't help it. I'm just looking around, going, "Wow, it's changed down here."
yeah,
I don't remember that silo. That wasn't there. That's a new one, yeah.
yeah,
And my
yeah.
hat kept blowing off my head, and so every time we would just slap it back on my head, and, sometimes my hair would be in my mouth, and it would be like, "Oh, we have to do that again. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Oh,
So I do have a question about being a narrator.
okay.
So, because I think this is a very interesting role to actually narrate a film.
Yeah.
And I was curious about your take on it. Do you picture yourself as a character in the film or more like a tour guide for those that are watching?
Kind of the tour guide vibe, I think, is what
Yeah.
I was thinking of, is
Yep.
that, um, you know, I was kinda like sort of a real thing and sort of a not real person, you know what I mean? Just sort of like the, sort of enigma kinda thing. I That's kinda how I looked at it, but like I say, there was, like, no actual script for me to go by, so I was really, like, just riffing and, um, not my gift.
It's
I,
certainly.
I would disagree. I think it is
I think
because
you
I
did
think you
great.
knocked it out of the park.
Uh,
So
Uh,
it gave me vibes of it was Waylon Jennings that did Dukes of Hazzard, right? Where he'd be dubbing over it and have like, well, them Duke boys are back at it again, or whatever.
That's kind of the thing I was thinking about, it's like, I kind of am privy to it because I kinda know the characters,
Yeah,
but at the same time, I'm not necessarily real.
yeah, yeah. I love that.
yeah,
Love
I
that.
like that. Yeah.
And you
Um,
guys know that my son is in it too. He's the Tasty Freeze kid that's, and he
I
just
didn't.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
yeah, I just talked to him. He lives in Portland, Oregon, and I just talked to him and told him that he was gonna be on the big screen in Aledo, so he was
Oh,
really excited about it, but
I was watching your Wind Down Wednesday, and you mentioned that, and I'm like, what is she talking about on that? Like, when she? But now I get it. Okay, he's a Tasty
the
Freeze kid.
he's the Tasty Freeze kid, yeah, and what
Very
a
cool.
brat. I mean, he's such a brat.
Love
Like,
that. Love that.
it's I'm just like, "Why do you have to make me look so dumb?"
Uh, so let's talk a little bit about that. Your Wind Down Wednesday. I just watched a couple episodes of it. How often do you do that? Is it the first? Is it one Wednesday a month, or do you just kind of as?
Well, here's how it started. I started it in 2020. I did
Oh,
208 episodes in a row
oh my goodness.
Holy
every
cow.
Wednesday. And
Okay.
then once we got back on the road and I was really like, back into serious touring, I would be gone so much of the time and I'd be in Durango, Colorado or someplace and it would be really hard to get service or whatever. And sometimes we'd be in a car because we'd just gotten off an airplane or whatever. And it got to be where it just wasn't as personal. Like I really
Yeah.
loved the whole experience of just a half an hour with these folks that are asking me
Yes.
questions. I'm trying to sing some songs that maybe they have never heard me sing, and it got to be kind of difficult. So now I'm doing it mostly like every of all the last Wednesdays of every month.
Okay.
But
Mm.
but when I can get a really good guest because somebody's in town, and I just am like, we're just gonna have to have a special day because I got Randy Foster or whoever, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so when I can, like when somebody says I can do this week, and I just go, okay, well we're gonna have to do my Wednesday. So that happens, and whenever I'm on here on a Wednesday too, because that's our usually our travel day, and then we work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, someplace
Yeah.
around the country.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think personal is the perfect way to put that, because like it was very like intimate, very personal, where you're just singing and you got Doug actually reading some of the comments back to you, and you could tell the people have been there a lot. They're talking about, asking about your garden, or
yeah,
you've clearly got recurring fans for this.
it's
I
very, yeah, it's so like just, but during COVID times when we were all locked down, it
Yeah.
was such a lifeline for me and for them. And it's like we would just have these great conversations about whatever, like
Yes.
how you dealing with the voles in your yard, or whatever. Um, and it just turned into such a beautiful way to, kinda get to know some of these people who have been, like, keeping my lights on for all these
Yeah.
years, it's
Yeah.
been pretty fantastic, and so now I really look forward to it, I really crave it, and the other thing that it really helped me with was because I wasn't on the road, and I wasn't performing, was that every week I had to have 2 or 3 songs worked up,
Oh.
so I had to
Hmm.
practice. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
might have been, like, really, like, lame when I got back to working again if I hadn't had some, inspiration to keep practicing and keep my chops up.
Yeah,
So,
and it also like
How?
peels back the layers of you. Like, it's very, again, you're in it, and you are. Oh, I got to start over. This isn't the right guitar.
yeah.
Like that sort of thing. And I think that is so cool that you just let people see that part of you. That's very,
Well,
again,
anyone who
intimate,
knows
personal.
me knows that that's a part of me, so, yeah, it's true, and, I mean, there is there's no mystery anymore. There
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gone.
I
What?
love that.
I
Love
can't
that.
I
I was
can't
gonna
put on
ask.
any airs.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask, like, how have you seen like the use of social media change the way that you can connect with fans? Right. I mean, because
Oh,
just talking about like this, I mean, that's a totally different way to interact with your fans at that point in
to
time.
me, it's like one of the best things about social media is just the fact that you can do that and you can actually have a conversation and you know when I was first starting out and I was playing in bars and stuff, I would always stick around and try to hawk a cassette or something. And I
yeah,
would talk to people afterwards, and a lot of times people would bring me music to listen to. Like they would bring
Yeah.
somebody, "Have you ever heard of Guy Clark?" And I would be like, "No, I haven't," and then I'd take it home and I'd be like obsessed.
yeah,
Um, so that's one of the things that kind of goes away when you are on a bus and you're sitting on a piece of pavement until it's time to go in and do a big arena show. And it was something that I always really loved was the fact that we were sharing the fact that we all love music. And this has given me social media has given me the opportunity to look at comments and see what things have moved certain people, and also for them to tell me about something else that I might enjoy.
yeah,
And it's kind of just, it's like a big club for people who really love music and
yeah.
want to share it.
Well,
So,
Yeah, I could see that, and I think in one of the videos I watched, you said that some, if you're down or something like that, you can go through and read some of those comments that people read to, or that commented on there or whatnot. Because I couldn't hardly keep up because they were coming in so fast. But yeah,
yeah,
if you're having a down day and you got some people that are there to build you up, that's a good way to do it.
and it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
My endorphins they're filled up. Man.
Yeah, yeah, good. So, Clint, you had some other random questions here. Did you want to get some of those?
Yeah, one of the questions, speaking about your music, you are an incredible storyteller, and I was curious: is there a story that you haven't told yet that you wish you have?
Oh gosh. Well, yeah, as they say, you just gotta wait for certain people to die.
Okay,
Wow, I did
okay,
not see it going there.
yeah, yeah, that took a turn.
Well,
No,
yeah,
no, I don't really have anything that wonderful.
okay.
Um,
That letting go is a song that when you said that, that's the first thing I thought of was letting go, and that's a song that I feel like has grown with me a lot more the older I get.
so true. Yeah.
It's like, okay, now I get it. Now I get it. All that stuff.
Well,
So,
here's the deal: is that that was written by my husband.
oh, really?
So when we were first married, I got to hear the songs he was writing before anybody else got to have them. I mean, Pam Tillis could have had that song, so I'm
Yeah,
glad I
yeah,
got to hear it first. But yeah, that's the thing about that song is like when I sang the song, I didn't have a kid, and it's like that particular song. As you get older and you start, you start out as the younger person that's flying off to start your brand new life, and then as you age and you start understanding if whether you have a kid or not, you still just getting older, you start to understand what it means for um, you to be the older person looking at somebody else who's getting ready to start out, and
correct.
we don't get to really do it over completely. I mean,
Yeah,
as many times as we want new adventures and to start a new chapter, we can always do that. But that whole that feeling of I really am craving this independence, but I'm also a little fearful, and I'm
yep,
also like I love my safety net. It was a nice
yes,
safety net.
exactly,
you know?
exactly.
And then when you start putting yourself in the place of watching somebody else do that, and now you got to move on and find your new chapter, the empty nesters and that um, whole thing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
you know.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
It's funny that you say it because, like, I can remember back, like, everybody always used to say, like, you'd be in your 20s and everybody's like, "Oh, you got to go travel the world while you can," right? Like, go
Yeah,
see the world while it's just you. You have no ties, and it's like at that age, I'm like, I got plenty of time to travel, and then like life happens, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I get it now,
yeah,
right? Like it kind of hits you, and it's like,
yeah.
oh, like probably should have done more of that
Yeah.
when I was in my
Well,
20s.
you guys are, like really young, but I have friends, they have a philosophy that's really funny to me. It's like 50s and 60s go go, 70s go slow, 80s go super slow, 90s don't go.
Don't.
oh. Hey,
All right.
I love it. I love that it's the 50s and 60s that it's go go because that's where we're getting closer to, and we
My
that's where we
God.
want.
I mean, when you get, when you get, to where your kids are kind of wanting to have less time with you.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
start, making some little plans like, well, I always wanted to do this. I can make that happen.
for sure. So, talking about your songs, and we kind of talked about one there. One thing that I've always wondered when I hear someone that's been, like, you've probably played that song hundreds of times.
Oh,
Do you ever get tired of playing your own music? Like I've heard of like Cheap Trick doesn't like to play their biggest hits. Uh,
yeah. I think, sometimes I think when you write a song, you're a little more hard on it.
okay,
Mhm.
But a lot of my early hits were songs that I picked from friends of mine that were like my favorite songwriters.
okay,
So I'm singing John Hyatt songs and Nancy Griffith songs, and there's no way I could ever get tired of them because they're my favorite. I mean, Matraca Berg. I mean, it's like these are my favorite songwriters in the world, and There are a couple of songs that I always think, do I really need to put that in? And then, either Doug or somebody, that's close to me says, of course you have to do that song.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I know, but I muffed up this one line. I never felt like that was the right thing to say. So,
I love that.
yeah,
That
I
is
think
such
you're
a cool answer, though.
harder on the songwriter side of yourself than you are when you
Yeah.
pick a song because it's one of your favorite songs in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Hey,
it
I'm so
do you
glad
ever
I
find
don't have to
yourself
sing Elvira. That's all I can say. Thank you. I don't have to sing Elvira over
Oh, I
and
love
over
that
and
song
over and
though.
over. I know it's a great song, but no.
so on those that are your songs that you wrote and you said that you're a little harder on them, do you ever find like through the time of singing them, have you ever changed them? Like would you ever alter a lyric or something where all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, I should have wrote it this way," and like you change it?
I do think I do that a little bit. Sometimes, things will kind of evolve, but I'm really
Uh,
careful about not like, like taking a song that people really liked
Yeah.
and
yeah.
like making it reggae or something, and then them going, wait a minute, I love that song. I met my wife in this bar and we were,
Yeah.
talking, and that song was on, and now you're making fun of it or
Yeah.
whatever. So I'm pretty reverent to the hit songs because those that got played on the radio and that I kind of feel like, I feel like as a fan girl myself,
Mm.
when I go to see somebody and they don't want to play the songs that
Yeah.
like formed
Yeah.
my love of music and my love of that band, I feel a little bit like, at a certain point it becomes their song and not your song anymore.
I
So
was
give it up,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you,
I
you
I
know, I
fully
got
agree with that.
I got a swimming pool.
Yeah.
To sing your songs for you.
Yes, exactly. And I'm glad you said
Yeah,
that because that's the way I feel about a lot of these songs too. It's like that's my song, like I love that song so much.
me
It
too.
speaks to me on some level. And so like you want to have so you don't want to have the crazy version that that the artist, because you do go to concerts and you do have that and they're like,
Yeah.
this is a terrible example, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Clint and I saw Vanilla Ice once, and he sang Ice Ice Baby in like a screamo metal type of version of it, and
Wow.
it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
That was pretty terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I've also been to shows where like I'm coming to see, like there's like one album or there's a couple albums that I just can't wait to hear them do. And like here in Nashville, like somebody like Elvis Costello comes to town and he wants to sing George Jones songs. I'm
Yes,
like,
yeah.
so okay, sing me a George Jones song, but don't sing me for George. I like to listen to George Jones sing those songs.
Yes,
I want
yes.
you to sing your songs because I love you.
Yes, exactly. We came here to see
Yeah.
you.
Do
Yeah.
Allison, please.
Touche, touche.
So So that actually takes me to my next question, talking about your love of music, and you've talked about songwriters and albums that you love. If you could go back in time and be a fly on the wall for any album recording, which album you going to choose?
Oh man. Uh, Probably Heart Like a Wheel by Linda Ronstadt.
Really?
Ooh.
That's a
That
good answer.
that album has so many like different styles of music, and every song is cut to just perfection around her vocal. They just nailed it, and it was one of the ones that kind of made me think maybe I could actually go out and sing in front of people. So that one, that really speaks to me, that album.
Very cool. Great
Um,
That's
answer.
awesome.
and I was late to it. It's like it came out way before. I mean, I didn't have any money to buy albums when I
Yeah.
was growing up, so I had like 4 albums and boyfriends that had lots of albums.
Yeah.
In fact, that was kinda how I picked out my boyfriends, like, "What's his record collection like?"
Yeah, there you go. Which makes total sense. Total sense.
See, I always got my sisters hand me down cassette tapes that,
Oh, yeah.
were almost wore out, right?
Yeah.
But you could still
Yeah,
listen to
Clint
it.
and I
So
listened to a lot of Tiffany.
Well, I'll just go
we did.
I'll go ahead and tell you how old I am. It's like I had a portable 8-track player.
A
Oh,
portable
nice.
8-track player? I didn't even know that existed.
It was the best thing in the world. And then, of course, my dad's car had an 8-track player, so
Yeah.
you get used to that little, like, click right in the middle of one of your favorite songs, and you just gotta wait for the thing to, like, catch up and start playing again. It's like, what a groove killer.
Yeah.
They didn't stay with us,
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure. So, Suzy, what have you got next? You've got some concerts and stuff like that, some show dates and things like that. Work.
yeah.
I heard that you're going to be in Effingham. Is that the closest you're going to be to Aledo in the next near future? Besides obviously the Aledo movie.
Right. Yeah, Effingham has a really nice festival that I didn't know about until last summer, and so I'm glad I'm going to get to do that. I will be in Aledo in September, and they're having a festival there now, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, is that going to be the Route
Yeah,
Ride
17
17. You're
music
on Ride
fest? Oh, you're
17.
coming to that?
yeah. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's the 13th of September or something like
I
that.
don't know. I got an email about it, and I haven't checked to see when exactly all that is. So
Yeah, I haven't looked at that up. Now I'm like I'm excited. I need to go check this
I
out.
think
yeah,
it's
So
gonna be a really nice lineup. I mean, I was looking at it the other day, and it just looks like they're gonna have a really killer time. So
yeah, and it's all through the county here too. So it's a pretty cool event. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, everybody should come and share it.
yeah, for sure.
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
the last time I played Rhubarb Festival, we had like a big storm blow up. Like I don't
Yes.
know about 7 songs in or something like that, and there was nothing to do about it. It was so
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was in their lawn chairs and everything else, and it was like people were gonna just be blown away, so we had to just, kinda table it, and then, I stayed and talked to people when it calmed down later on, but man, it blew up and it was like,
Yeah.
it was scary stuff.
Correct.
More of a
Yeah.
tornado watch, but it was definitely, like, big
Yeah.
wind and
I was there for it. You were a trooper because you played through a little bit of it, and then all of a sudden it's like we can't do this anymore. Like
well, I
it
was
was.
just worried that people were like, seriously, we're gonna get hit in the head with the lawn chair or something.
Yeah.
I don't wanna be
Y
responsible for
For sure.
lawn chair brain injuries. That's just not good.
Yeah.
It is shocking to me though how many people I run into that know the Rhubarb Fest. It still just blows me
Oh, yeah.
away. Like this little small town
And
fest
it's
that
getting
like I can
bigger.
be in like 3 states away and they're like, "Aledo, isn't that like where that Rhubarb Fest is?" I'm like, "Holy cow." Like there's people from all over that know this thing.
The rhubarb, I can't grow rhubarb in Tennessee. So, I
Really.
it's a certain it's very, you know, well-loved plant that, if you don't have, like, a really hard freeze, it just won't do it.
Ah,
Oh,
So,
that's what it
you
needs.
gotta it has to get cold enough. So yeah, I mean, it's special. Rhubarb is it's special. And
It
I
is.
think ours is extra sweet because it was thought up by some of the, like, gals in town. We love our folks that do all the volunteer work and that sort of thing, and so um I just think it's extra sweet, and also extra sweet that everybody gets together and makes the pies together,
oh yeah.
and
Yes.
then when they're gone, it
The
it's over. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you better get there on time. You better
Yes.
get there
oh, and
early
they're
enough.
gone quick.
You know,
Like
I
those pies do not stick around very
They don't,
long
and
at
I
all.
think that's kind of what makes it so special, is that,
Yep.
Yeah.
it's like you either respect it and get there on time, and, know that this is something if you really want it, you have to put in the time and get there on time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly right. Rhubarb regret is what they call that when you get there and you can't find a rhubarb pie. Rhubarb regret.
I know it. I've been fortunate that a couple of times I've played it that they've saved me, like, a piece of, like, the star pie that
Yeah.
like was the winter
Oh.
pie. I'm gonna be just like everybody else this year, but I'm gonna be up early and I'm gonna be out there and I'm gonna be flashing my dollars and I'm gonna be saying, "Give me a pie right now."
Yes, I love that. You should also stop and get a pork chop from the JC's because that's
Oh,
where we'll be selling pork chops.
are you a JC?
Yes, I am. Yeah, yeah,
Oh man, those are the best pork chops. My husband's from Florida, and when I first started bringing him up to Aledo, the first thing was that Vernon Swearingen, my one of my best friends, Becky, it was her dad, and so my husband being from Tampa,
yeah.
Vernon saved him an acre of corn to pick so that he could know where his wife was from. So here's this
Nice.
guy, and it's the end of November, and Doug has on a leather jacket and like one of those little English kind of caps.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
freezing his tail off, gets on this combine and learns how to go out and pick corn and then take it back to the silo. And, you know, he has been in love with the pork chop sandwiches
Oh, I love to hear that.
ever since then. I mean, it's like the seasoning, the way they're cooked, it's just like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
incomparable.
Yes. You know what, Suzy? Here's what's going to happen: is the post that's going to go up on Rhubarb Fest Day. It's going to have Suzy Bogguss says they're incomparable.
Are incomparable.
Yes,
Uh,
I love that. Love that. Um, Clint, did you have any more questions? I got a couple more, but they're just
Just the one thing that I was going to ask is, talking about coming back to Aledo here in a couple weeks. What's the one thing that when you roll into town that just you see and brings back the most memories?
oh man. Well, I come in through Viola, so I'm coming by the bowling alley first, and then the Tasty Freeze, which that's the big deal. But
yeah,
the courthouse has always had a real special. I've always just been so proud of how beautiful our building is there and the sandstone.
Absolutely.
And this is a really weird thing, but that must have been kind of a popular design because the train station, Union Station in Nashville, is sandstone and it is basically the same design. And when I moved to Nashville and I saw Union Station and it was the courthouse, I was like, "Oh, I'm home. It's okay to be
yeah.
here."
Oh, that's so cool.
That's
Because I
cool.
just had that feeling of like, here I have something that I can actually look at all the time that is going to remind me of my home. And I feel like it's okay. It's okay that I'm not where I grew up. So,
Yeah, that is perfect. That
That's
is a
awesome.
great. Yeah, people are going to love to hear that too. So, that's very cool. Uh, okay, I got one more comment. I guess it is. So again, I have a cameo in this film. So I think I'm listed as the drunk guy or whatever at the bar, and I don't know if you've seen how many times you've seen this movie, but like it's where they cut to the spot where they're like, "Hey, is everybody? Is it where can I possibly find someone to kiss or something like that?" At that point, and
oh,
they cut to me, and I'm trying to find the straw.
oh
Yes,
my gosh. Oh, that's awesome.
yes. So
Okay. I'll be looking for that. I'm very excited about this.
okay, so here's my comment about that. Is I'm a big fan of yours, Suzy. So I grew up listening to your music, and I absolutely love it. I especially those sadder country songs, kind of like I said, like "Letting Go." I love that. I love that vibe. My wife gets tired of it. But
Well,
but
we
one of the
can
things,
talk with her.
yeah, yes, exactly. So it's really crazy to me to think about the fact that like you'll be watching a film and seeing me on a TV screen or on a movie screen as opposed to where somebody that I've been listening to. You know, I don't know why, but that is such a humbling and enjoying. I love it. I love that idea. That one of my heroes growing up is watching me on something like that. And it's
Well,
just
now I'm gonna
no
be
speaking lines, but
extra,
it's
like,
cool.
tuned in. I'm gonna be extra tuned in there.
Exactly. I'll be asking how you feel about my acting skills afterwards. So
Didn't you think the 2 gals that played the lead roles were wonderful? They just
Oh, they were
Oh,
they're
so great.
wonderful.
and they did such a good job of like knowing how to be us.
Yes, that's exactly right.
But
Yeah.
I swear to God, the little guy that played, I shouldn't say it like that, but the young man who played
Yeah.
the sheriff, like,
Oh,
he stole everything. He just
Yes.
was so funny. It was like seeing the best of Don Knotts doing, Andy Griffith's show. It was
Yes.
just so good.
Yes.
it
Yeah.
we had a so Chad and I, we got the opportunity when Chad shot his part. We were up there at Cheers, and it was funny because during that whole scene, in the background is Chad and I playing pool, right? Yet we're just literally constantly either taking the same shot or just walking around because we were just trying to stay busy
Yeah,
But not
the
you
whole
couldn't make any
time.
noise.
Yeah, you can't make any,
that's
so we
true.
can't
Yeah, you
actually
look
shoot,
like
but
yak. Oh gosh.
it was so much fun though to see like some of the behind the scenes though of watching them. Chad, you kind of talked about how mobile they were, right? And Susie, you were talking about like how they wanted to keep it, very non-scripted and things of that
Just
nature.
loose.
And we got to see that. Like they took one scene and they cut it multiple times. Like they took multiple takes with different ways of saying it, trying to find that genuine take, and it
Yeah.
was just they did such a good job at that.
Yeah, it was very fun watching all of that. I enjoyed that so much.
So if you haven't gotten tickets yet, make sure you get your tickets and come see the movie. June, one more time, June 4th,
Like
5th, 6th.
6th, 7th, and 8th,
Yeah,
maybe. Right?
yeah.
Yeah,
It's that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
6th,
Yeah.
I think, is
Yep.
the Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
6th.
Yeah, the first one is the Friday because that's the one that I'm going to be there for. And some of those are going to be sing along, so we can sing along with Susie's songs
It's
and everything.
and don't forget, you're gonna get to see all 3 of us. It's like
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
so yeah,
Oh,
and now we'll be really extra tuned in to the pool scenes.
yes, yes. Appreciate that.
You're
Um,
you're lucky, you guys, because you were just having to play pool. Doug and I one time were in, that thing called Love.
yeah.
We were in at the pancake pantry in Nashville, and we had to be eating pancakes for like 3 hours, and they would
Oh,
come and bring more pancakes that looked exactly like where you were every time that they would. Oh my God, you can't eat that many pancakes. I mean, we like rolled out of there. It was
yeah.
like, oh my God, I can't eat another pancake bite. Oh.
But it's part of the job. I got to eat more pancakes. Just got to do it. I got to
Yeah.
do it.
I would have, if they were blueberry, I would have had a better time,
Ooh,
There you
we
go.
go.
but
Now you're talking.
So, well, before we wrap this up, Susie, there's one question that we ask all our guests.
okay.
I don't know how big of a movie fan you are, but
Um,
in a void, what movie would you recommend to someone?
oh, wow. Wow. In a void? What's
Yeah,
that?
just any. Yeah, without any. Just like if somebody said, "Hey, Susie, what movie should I watch?"
Okay, I just watched a movie that I absolutely loved.
Okay.
I had no idea it existed. It was done in 2023. So
Okay.
now this is my thing I've been telling everybody. It's called Lake George. Did you guys
Lake
see Lake
George.
George? It's so good. It's
Okay.
so good. And it's, it's got one of the gals from White Lotus in it. Oh golly.
I told Clint you were a White Lotus fan.
Yes. Her name is Kuhn is her last name, and I can't think what her first name is. But anyway, watch that movie.
Okay, I
Well,
will. By the
Lake
by
George.
that
All
that
right.
by the Rhubarb Fest, I will have watched that movie for you.
yeah,
So
it's kind of one of those like twists you around a little bit, but it's kind of I don't know. Did you ever see Blood Simple? It's like it's a
no,
weird
it's
thing.
not very often people give me back-to-back recommendations that I have
Yeah,
not heard. So
I, I have like a really artsy fartsy kid and husband, so
yeah.
we watch a lot of weird stuff.
Okay. All right. Hey, I love that. I love weird stuff. So I can't wait to see it.
All right. Good. Well,
Yes.
thanks for calling me up and stuff.
Yeah. No problem. This is totally our pleasure. We really appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for jumping on here. This has been a absolute wonderful time.
Well, I've had a good time too, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in person and on the screen.
Yes. Absolutely. Exactly.
Well, with that, the credits are rolling,
Lights are coming on.
All right.
and that's the end of the show.
Fun.